Hello and welcome to another weekly summary. This is Jordan, and today, as per the new format, we're going to talk about three strategies at the same time, covering them in the same video. So if you have any questions regarding any of the ideas here showed in today's video, actually any of the ideas that are not showed, that I'm not going to cover, please let us know in the Telegram groups, comment section, emails, whatever it is. And we'll get back to you as soon as possible, explaining and trying to give you an idea what was done, how it was done, etc. So I am going to start with Forex Triple B. The website is forextripleb.com. This table you can find under Triple B Pro Performance, and all I need and miss at the moment is the pencil. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the last week of August, which is, where is that, 23rd, 27th, okay? So as we can see, we have only a few ideas here, but starting from the bottom, this is cable, sell opportunity. Now let's see what we have there, zooming in a bit. And since this is the 1 hour chart, lines are kind of overlapping each other, right? We can see them very close to each other, but this is again because we're looking at the 1 hour chart. So these zones are pretty close and visible. But besides that, let's see what do we have here. So clearly we're looking at bearish momentum. There was bullish momentum at some point here, or at least moments where the bullish momentum was getting the force behind it, but as we can see, generally that was a mixed structure here, mixed signal in terms of the triple B filters, because those two didn't agree on the higher time frames during these periods. Again, some short-term periods where the price is actually the filter showing the potential direction, but then it was neutralized pretty quickly. So after this move down, the higher time frames finally got into agreement, and this is where we're looking at bearish form, we're looking at bearish filters, and we, at least according to the software, should be looking for sells. On the 4 hour chart, there are no divergences besides this one, which for me personally is just pullback divergence. And the next thing we should be looking at is, of course, the structures. We do have a double wave and probably at the last place, but one of the most important ones is levels. Level 1, level 2, those are daily supports, resistances, right, from the indicator. But look at where the weekly from the previous week, this is where the new week starts. Look at where the previous weekly level is, somewhere closer to this zone, and this is exactly where we would expect for the price to give us the bounce to the downside, given that we're starting to form bearish momentum. There is no divergence ending, so it makes, at least to me, a lot of sense for this thing to push to the downside, which excuse me, unfortunately in this case does not happen. Cut franc is the next one, again, sell opportunity. And for cut franc, as opposed to cable, we have kind of opposite scenario here, because we are in a long-term bearish trend. This is the 15-minute chart, so this time we're looking at H1, H4 on the higher time frame. But the cloud, we can see this cloud is on the chart pretty much during the entire time. Plus, we have the price action showing us pretty clearly what the price is doing. Excuse me. So that's the very first thing that I'm personally looking in this software when using it. Again, the divergences, which in my opinion makes sense because there is no ending divergence here. Then we have the levels and the price action. Two waves. There we have it. Levels, weekly zone, daily zone. Price is bouncing off of these levels. breaking below here, wherever the last fractal was during the touch to of the band, push down, expecting for this thing to continue lower, right? Pretty straightforward. I would even say conservative idea, simply by checking all the boxes, right? I'm not talking about one simple indicator here on the chart, whether this is going to be the price action or the level part or the divergence part. All of the boxes for me are ticked. So when this happens, I'm definitely ready and willing to pull the trigger. Then we have dollar franc. This is a 15-minute chart. As we can see, first of all, look at what's happening. We have a switch in the momentum. You see, it was bearish, and then these two managed to turn to the upside during this moment, and it goes into the bullish direction now. So that started as consolidation right here, at least the way I see it, because look what you have. Just imagine you're looking at the price right here. So you're looking at first wave, second wave, but look how these waves are going. Very deep, almost going to the low, but not actually creating a new low. So you, technically speaking, don't have an ABC here. So there you have it. You have the contraction, then it pushes down for a potential second wave like this. And this is where we have again levels. These two are confirming breakout here. We're trading above these two zones. So in my opinion, again, all the boxes are ticked. At least for me, this is definitely a tradable situation. Now, the part where we could have arguments here, or the part where we might not be agreeing, let's say we're having a discussion, is this. I think most of the traders would be puzzled on this part, the price action part, right? Because this is easy, like you read it, no big deal. This is also black and white stuff. It's either or, right? There is no gray zone here, but this is a gray zone. Okay, that could be interpreted. It's not super clear. So that's probably the only part where there could be some confusion for some people. All right, we actually cover all of these ideas here and examples. So moving on to Divergence University. Again, the website here is divergenceuniversity.com, and under the performance tab, you will be able to see this table. Once again, we're looking for, I think it was 23rd, wasn't it? 23rd, yeah, up until the 27th. So from here to the upside. This time I'm going to start from the top. Just cover 2 or 3 of them. Aussie franc, 1 hour chart, sell opportunity. Well, the first thing, at least for me, is to look at the bigger picture, right? And what I see on this chart is the price is pushing lower. And at some point we start pushing to the upside. This is a massive zone. Now, besides these intraday highs that were broken and we're getting the convergence to start pushing to the upside, this is the level which I would really like to see the price going to, reaching that, and probably attacking it. So what do we see here? First of all, level is reached. Then we have divergences. This is the first PMP divergence that happened right here. No breakouts yet to the downside, but then look what's happening. We have another divergence, and we're still holding approximately the same level here. Okay, this zone. So the expectation, at least in my opinion, is that even if this is the first impulsive wave of something larger, I should be getting a pullback. Even if this is a reversal, I should be getting a pullback. Why? Because I understand that, at least as per my knowledge, of course, this is the end of some cycle, and I need to see pullback or reversal, which could be treated as continuation signal even for some. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is put myself in a situation where there is a win-win case for me. Whether this is a pullback or a reversal, continuation, call it as you wish. In this segment of the chart, this short-term time frame here, this window, I'm expecting for the price to push lower because XYZ, right? I have the level, I have the multiple divergences, have the multiple false breaks, I have the count. All that is telling me it's time for a pullback. And notice that once we have reached, this is the full box, and we probably have most of the volume somewhere inside of it. But notice what's happening once we have reached this level. Tiny pullback here. Push up, tiny pullback, push up, tiny pullback, push, 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 tiny pullback. We never actually managed to create some kind of healthy pullback to the downside to gain this next bullish wave that, if it's going to happen, the pullback will be required here. Okay, look what happens here. For example, you have a push down, not a very healthy pullback in my opinion. Then you have continuation, strong one. I would not expect this to happen, but anyhow this is happening, and then you get this, right? So either a pullback or consolidation, but the size, the length of this pullback needs to gather the momentum for the next push. Okay, because we might consider this as a nice move from actually down to here, but when you compare it to the next wave that came to the actual bottom, ignoring this tiny consolidation, look what's happening. Okay, it's a bit more aggressive, it's a bit larger probably. Okay, so basically once the market manages to get out of these consolidation phases, it means we have gained enough momentum, enough buyers or sellers to push the price in the given direction. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Of course, I'm not looking for the consolidation phase, right? I'm looking for a pullback. So that would be my thinking regarding this Aussie franc example. Unfortunately, immediate push to the upside in this specific case. Then we have Bitcoin. And after the most recent rally from Bitcoin, it's holding approximately the 50K zone. In my opinion, this is in a larger view kind of consolidation. I'm talking about, let's say, daily charts. And once this consolidation phase that we see there is over, I believe we're going to continue up. So let's see what do we have on this 1 hour chart. Regardless of what I said about the longer term view, let's see what do we have on H1. First of all, we have push up on the last phase. This is kind of flat. Then we have continuation up, ending with divergence. This divergence later on leads to breakout to the downside, which comes with a fantastic impulse. When I'm looking at this, if the higher time frames are confirming it, I'm definitely looking for pullbacks and sells. If I'm looking for pullbacks and sells, why not take advantage of this pullback? Okay. Now, in this case, this is 1 to 2, all right? But if you're using something small or you're managing the position live without any fixed targets, okay, you're just looking for signs to exit, that could work out even better. But since this is how Divergence University is managed, we stick with that. But what I mean is, you have a level, right? This is the entire zone. No need to draw the big box. I just want to focus on the inner levels that overlap to a big extent. So yeah, I think this is the overall zone where we have most of the touch points, and then this one. So basically what I would expect is, if this is the end of this push to the downside and we're beginning to give the pullback up, I would expect for the price to end up with this bullish rally somewhere in this zone, and then probably push down again. So does that make sense for my risk reward ratio? Yeah, it does in this specific case. Even if you're using 1 to 2, it would still make some kind of sense. Then Aussie dollar bullish. Now this is pretty much what we have seen in BTC, but in an opposite way. Anyway, let's not confuse the two. Mix them together and just cover this one on its own. So Aussie dollar bullish opportunity. Why the bullish opportunity? As well, as we can see, the price was pushing down, it came here, created bullish divergence, convergence. We started pushing to the upside, creating and forming this impulsive structure. And this is where we get double wave. And this is where we have reached a zone where we can expect for the price to stop and rest for a bit, right? Because when we look at it from the opposite side, the price was moving, then it came, started creating this range, then it broke. From here to here, we have pretty much sudden move. Then we see consolidation zone, and then again, pretty much straight move to the downside. So we know that we have level here and we have level here. What we can expect from the price once it starts pushing to the upside is to come to this level, first of all, once it starts reversing. And this is exactly what we're seeing. So this is a perfect zone for the price to stop and rest, gain some momentum, and probably continue in the same direction as well. So we have maybe a tiny divergence, maybe not, but definitely we're stopping. We have the level and we can see the price consolidating or giving us a pullback. It depends on how you want to read a pullback or how you want to define a corrective move. In my opinion, both would fit here. On the 15-minute chart, this is definitely ABC. On the 1-hour chart, someone might say this is a consolidation. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that this divergence very quickly ended by an opposite divergence inside the box. So what all this is telling me after this push up is that we're likely going to continue up with this momentum. I know that if this box right here is broken, I'm probably going to the next zone right there. And that's pretty much what I have to say about this one. So Aussie dollar covered. Let's do cut franc, last one, and then move on to SRS Pro. Cut franc level. This time we have the absolute opposite situation. Now here the very important part is probably the count, because in these two, which on a first look appear to be absolutely the same, well, not exactly the same, but pretty much the same logic behind them, the count of the waves is where the key to this question is. Okay, in one of the cases, which was Aussie dollar, the expectation is that this cycle is not yet finished and there will be another push to the upside. In this case, the expectation is that first of all, this cycle is finished, and second of all, we still did not get any pullback or consolidation. All right, while in Aussie dollar, this pullback, or at least what we assume it to be a pullback, is finished and we're expecting it to continue up, right? So here we are like one step in advance and we're trying to get exactly this from the market, where the attack on Aussie dollar came only here after the ABC. The other part that we have in place here is the level, right? So this level is somehow, I don't know, pretty much looks the same to me, I would say. But I think you get the point. So let's not go over this for too long. Price pushing up, pretty much this is a failure. Now going to the last one, which is SRS Pro underperformance. You will be able to see the exactly same table. SRS was at srstrendrider.com is the website. Again, going to the table, we can see here the Pro and the version 2, which is the older version. You can also see some of the things recorded before the Pro. So again, we have the 23rd, which comes down to right here, but let's start from the top and we're going to see probably 2-3 examples and I think we're done. Euro franc buy opportunity. So what do we have here? We have bullish trend, annoying pop-up, and pretty clear statement from the software that we should be looking for buys, right? So bullish, double wave down, This is where we connect the dots. This is where the price attempts to break to the upside. And usually, by the way, even if that turned to blue and it would give me the signal right here, okay, just imagine that was blue and gives you the arrow and the signal, I'm probably going to skip such opportunities, right? I like to see the price breaking above. Even if it's with these tiny small candles, which I don't like too much, but at least the price is breaking above and it's holding above for a few candles. It means we are holding the positions of the breakout. So that's what I have to say about Euro franc, which unfortunately pushed to the downside. Then we have cable. Well, here I think again the situation is kind of similar, but not really, because the difference comes from the 4-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, we can see that in the slightly, not really long term, but mid term, we were pushing up. At least the last 4 candles out of the 5 candles were pushing up. Only the last candle managed to push down. This is probably one of the reasons why we have this rally here. But after that, the price started developing the momentum to the downside. 1-hour chart already definitely agreeing with the bearish side. And after this rally, we are breaking this level. And after the breakout, look what's happening. We are getting into consolidation / ABC pattern, which delivers a breakout. Now compare this breakout candle to the one that we have seen before, right? This is what I mean. I like to see these powerful bearish candles when it happens, okay? Or bullish candles, of course. Litecoin, again, same idea. That was some kind of consolidation or whatever, but in general, this is 15-minute chart. In general, we're looking at bearish momentum here. Look at this, 6 out of the 6 pointing down. Do you need more confirmation? Well, probably yes. If you know how to read cycles and count waves, you would probably go ahead and do that. But if you're using just the software, this is as good as it gets, okay? Then you have a clear setup with this ABC. Now the ABC here, it's a bit arguable because this wave is 61.8 of the previous wave, but in my opinion, we have a decent breakout candle, so that makes sense, okay? Push down, immediate push up, which didn't end well. And then we have dollar yen for the buys, which is again kind of simple. You have the trend line here, you have the ABC, you have the breakout, support from the higher time frames. Here we have 4 out of the 6. I like basically the protection of this trend line. I know it's just a 15-minute chart, but the price for some reason is respecting it, so it is kind of good to see when this happens. Also, the target is below the high, which is something I enjoy seeing, especially when trading the breakouts from the pullback. All right, so let's leave it to this point. Again, if you have any questions, we are there for you. Have a good one.